Hey guys, welcome back. Today was a pretty good day. I feel like I'm starting to speak more with the leadership vibe and emotion. Now, what that means is I can start to tell stories or my opinions of my stories that is more captivating than I did before, and that was what I did so well today. I feel like the vibe is I'm starting to get to that sweet spot of that good vibe. And also one thing I really hammered in today was the idea of taking value and giving value. Like in the morning, I was actually so stuck in my head that I just couldn't really talk to anyone. It just feels so fucking weird. Then because it's Sunday morning over here, and usually there's not that many people out on a Sunday morning. So on my way back from the gym, I saw this very beautiful girl who was walking past, and in that moment I thought, you know what, fuck her. Even though I don't feel ready, I feel so stuck in my head. I just couldn't let it out. I still went for it. And what I realized was that my shoe was flattered, and I realized maybe I came on a little too strong, or my vibe was taking value, and she just feel like, oh, something is. I mean, this guy seems kind of cool, but something is a little off here. I mean, I can start to tell the expression from the girl. It's kind of like a social intuition that you get trained for when you're doing this a lot. You can just kind of tell what people are. You can read people very precisely or accurately most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. And from that reference experience, I realized that okay, um, I decided to call it out and say, oh, I know this is very random, but she was like, oh no, that's good, it's good, and I feel like her voice was putting on a persona, and I realized the reason that she was putting on a persona is because I was putting on a persona. I was putting on a persona to take value, and therefore she was reacting to me in a way that's kind of with a slight barrier. Like she's polite, but she's just not quite there yet. And also, my voice in the morning, I wasn't grounded as well, simply because I was so stuck in my head, and I just couldn't project my voice. Now, a thing I wish I had done earlier that day was that just fucking talk to anyone. Because if I had done that, and when that really beautiful girl walked past, I would have been ready, or I would have been more relaxed, more in the zone. But I didn't do that. Instead, I waited. And I would say that's a lesson learned right there. No judgment. I still took action, and that's what's important. So there's that. And right after that, into action, I realized, damn it, at first I was thinking about what could I have said that was better. Then I realized that I'm stuck in the doing. Like Julian always says, don't get stuck in the doing. Focus on the being. And I thought about it. Focus on the being. What does that mean? What was my intention? My intention was hoping I could get a date with her. I could just, if she could just validate me, I would feel so good. That was my intention. So I focus on the being, and for the next interaction, I just focus on giving. I switched. Focus on giving. I focus on how do I bring the best version of myself and give it to the girl. So I did that, and for the second interaction, there was an old couple walking behind me and the girl. And for a moment there, I thought, oh my god, they're gonna see me, blah blah blah. But then I snap right out of it and think, remove the self-concern and just focus on bring the best version of yourself to the girl, because that's what's important. And in the second interaction, I learned another major lesson, that is how to ground my voice. Now, this actually happened last night when I was drinking. What's funny is when you're drinking, people's real self kind of comes out and shine through, because they just remove that alcohol, just lowers your inhibition to say things or do things. And when you're in that state, you just kind of say whatever you want, and your real personality kind of shines out, but you don't want to rely on alcohol. So last night when I was drinking with my friends, we were just laughing, shooting the shit, and I realized that, damn, my body feels so relaxed. I wish I could hang on to this kind of feeling tomorrow morning when I wake up sober. So in the second interaction, I realized that, oh wow, I'm actually, when you're coming from a given place, your body feels very relaxed. But what's most important is that I kind of put all my awareness onto my feet, and that relaxes, and my legs, especially my lower calf, they start to relax, and I was grounded there in the present moment just by bringing awareness to my feet, kind of to my legs, where the tenseness usually is. And I realized that helps a lot. And whenever I kind of drift out of that state, become kind of stuck in my head, my voice become quieter, I just took a deep breath and bring my awareness back to my feet. And I realized that whenever I do that, my voice just kind of booms out, and I'm more free flow, I'm more present when I do that. So that's another thing I realized. And I had a very interesting conversation with this girl. Now, she may not be the most attractive girl, but she's not ugly as either. I mean, she did have a pretty nice dress, pretty good figure when I saw her from behind. But no judgment, man. I mean, every interaction should bring your energy up. And that's also another lesson I kind of had to relearn today, is that it doesn't matter what happens, every interaction your energy goes up, as long as you're giving value and staying congruent, and just kind of let your real self shine through. Then you don't get tired, and you can become more calibrated, more free flowing, more charming as you talk to more girls. So I was connecting really well with this girl. I was actually being genuine. Like, in that moment, I wasn't thinking about, okay, what do I say now? How do I connect to her? I was staying in my own lane, and I was trying to think, oh, interesting. What do I think about that? How do I feel about that? And at the same time, try to figure out why she did certain things, and what her motivation was for studying, blah blah blah, and what she was feeling, and what kind of person she is. And we made a really good connection. Now, in the conversation, she kind of briefly mentioned that she has a boyfriend, but I just kind of ignored that and just had a good time. And honestly, I wasn't that attracted to the girl, so it didn't really bother me that she had a boyfriend. But whatever, it's all good. Then the next one, then I bring that shortly after that interaction, I saw another girl, and I brought the same energy, the same intention to her. Focus on the being and not the doing. I think I can finally understand what Julian means when he says that you should focus on the being and not the doing. Because, and if you go on seduction forums, pick up forums and all that, you always see guys focus on what am I doing wrong and what should I have done better. I mean, those things are important, don't get me wrong, but you have to figure out where you're coming from first. And once you sort that out, doesn't matter what you're doing, because what you're doing is it's just gonna quote unquote work. It's just gonna make the girl feel more comfortable and more attracted to you because you're just giving. And then I saw another post on Hot Seat at Home, the Facebook page, and one of the guys said that the a mental shift that he had last night was just giving, and he ended up had a great time and got laid. And I was like, damn, that is so true. But it's important not to get caught up on just getting laid, yada yada yada. I mean, that's enough. Okay, that's enough pickup talk for today. I just want to rant on something else. Start with porn. I think I was talking about this last time. Porn can be a good thing. It depends on where you're coming from. And I think, yeah, it is kind of like that. Porn. I would have to say, well, porn is exciting to watch, but when you're in reality having sex, it just always feels different because you're moving more, and there's the smell, and there's the touch, there's the sweat, there's all those other factors that will make sex either amazing or a disaster. I certainly had got together with girls who smelled not that good, and I mean, she's a sweet girl, don't get me wrong. It's just that I would prefer if she had a shower, because after she had a shower, it's all good. Sex becomes amazing. And another thing is that wearing condoms, so fucking important. I remember I had a big scare 2 years ago with my girlfriend that time. She told me that her period is not coming. I was like, fuck. If you miss your period, chances are she might be pregnant. Now, this was pretty much the beginning of my seduction career. And at that time, I was in scarcity, and sex without condoms feels so fucking good. And I just couldn't resist. But after that scare, when she told me, my period's not here, what do we do now? I was like, fuck. No point worrying about this. Get those pregnancy tests. I also told her to buy morning after pill. I know it's a bit late, but I mean, I heard that they still do work. Like a couple days later, it's just the chances decrease dramatically. Like if you get the 3 days up, 2 days later, it becomes like 50% of like the 50% eliminates about 50% of the chances that the girl gets pregnant. Whereas if you do it the day after, it's like 99% most of the time it's gonna work. But those pills are expensive, and I didn't know that. It costs about $20 per pill. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, pharmaceuticals, they know how to make money based on demand and need. I mean, when people buy this pill, it's always because they desperately need it. I mean, I bet the ingredient itself, it's probably not so different, and it's bad for you as well. The side effect is so bad that they don't recommend you to take those pills all the time. So after that scare, she took the pregnancy test, and she was texting me. I was like waiting for the results. I was like, fuck. Please don't be fucking pregnant. And I was like, oh, 2 bars. She told me 2 bars. I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, it means I'm not pregnant. I was very paranoid at that time, so I told her to take a picture of the instruction of the pregnancy test and send it to me so I can confirm it myself. So that's what I did. And she was not pregnant. And after that time, we just always have condoms. But I have to say, it wasn't until the start of last year that I really, really take it seriously, because I realized that I'm getting better and better, and I have to set hard boundaries to girls. Like, I can't just put my seeds everywhere and not taking responsibilities of the newborn, the babies. I mean that's what douchebag. What do they call it? Deadbeat. Yeah, deadbeat parents. I don't want to become like lads. So it was around end of last year I took it seriously. And granted that some of the girls complained that because I didn't buy lube, which is another mistake. Oh wait, maybe I should invest into buying lubes. They said that condoms, especially when you last a long time, like 30 minutes to an hour, if you don't have lubes and the girl is very dry, it will hurt more than it pleasures. So even though you don't really feel it, because the fucking condom, like, you can't even feel sex itself. You just pretty much don't feel shit, like. But I think it's something you have to get used to. So I agree. I agree with Tyler. Like, the only benefit of getting a girlfriend is that you don't have to wear condoms, and that in itself is like 1,000 times better. But of course, there's also the connection. Like, I definitely had times when I had a girl over, and after we had sex, it's wish, okay, we're done. You can go now. Oh, it sounds harsh, but it's true. And I bet I'm not the only guy who's thinking about that. I bet lots of guys thought about that too, especially with their spouses. Because I doubt most guys have this abundance of women that they can just sleep with. And I doubt that they're choosing from